be able to.
All right, we are live. Welcome to This Week Unloaded, the show where we have absolutely no topic right now. But David was telling us a story before we went on air. I don't know if he wants to convey the story to the fine people who may be up there watching or not.
It's
Yeah,
called Taco Bell Get Food Challenge.
yeah,
Yeah. In his case, it's a challenge to get the food.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I went to go shoot my Taco Bell French fries. What are they? Nacho fries video that Travis tagged me in, and that our good friend here Gary released his video earlier today, and ended up getting kicked out of the store. Basically, I didn't actually leave, but the guy definitely told me to get out. And I just chose to leave without getting my fries. But it was just a disaster, And like I said offline, the lady was as nice as you could be, sitting there nice and quiet, just waiting, and she doesn't know what's going on. She knows the same thing that anybody else knows. You walk into a Taco Bell, you order your food. A couple minutes later, they give you their food. Well, the guy told her that he wasn't going to make her food and that he wasn't going to give her money back. And then he reached over the counter and handed her a free taco thing. And the lady looked at it, and that's when she kind of lost her cool for a lady. Now, this is when you think you guys are old enough to know what a lady is, and she, as a lady, lost her cool. She flipped the thing over in her hand and was like, "What am I supposed to do with this?" And then that's when I lost it. I was just like, "Look, you better get that manager up here immediately, or I'm going to cause a big scene in this store." And I still caused kind of a scene, but not as big of a scene as I was going to. Then he promptly, told me to get the, a couple of four-letter words out of his store and complained about how busy he was.
Yeah, this being the manager, not the new guy, right?
Oh yeah, well yeah, it was the manager who was probably at most 20 years old. And another thing that sticks in my craw about it is the kid that was at the front register was probably about 16 or something like that, and it was his first day. It was his first day on the job, and the manager told him to go around, tell the customer, a little old lady, "I'm not making your food and I'm not giving you your money back. And here you go. Let me go ahead and slap you in the face a little bit. Here's a free taco. So next time you come back for your free taco, you can wait for a half an hour to get that too." And like I said, all she wanted was two plain burritos. So a burrito shell, some meat, and some cheese. That's it.
Yeah, like I was saying before when we were talking about it, before we went live, there's absolutely no reason for any of that. I don't know how many of you know how Taco Bell works with their most Taco Bells anyway. There's one around here. If you go to the one in Winchester, Virginia, they actually use fresh ingredients. They don't just use the nuke things. But if it's one of the Taco Bells where they get all the stuff pre-done from the corporate distribution center, they just throw that stuff in a microwave.
The Taco Bell meat they add water to and mix up and then just keep in the little steam pan.
Yeah, but first they microwave it. I've seen. Like I was saying, like I was telling you before we went live, they had that one gas station that had the Taco Bell in. You could see everything they were doing because it was right there in front of everybody. They didn't have the where they went behind a wall to make the stuff. It was right there. You saw how it was done. That stuff, they add water to a plastic bag and throw it in a microwave.
Yep.
That's it. There's no reason why it should take them any more than maybe 5 minutes to make a burrito,
But,
and that's on a busy day.
one of the other things that added on top of it is when you get frustrated and things aren't going your way, and then the more frustrated you get, the worse things go. what you really need to do is calm down and just deal with one situation at a time, calmly and coolly, and get through it. Well, that's what the manager, who was a kid working there by himself, this manager's got 4 or 5 other people who are only a few years younger than him, who don't know what they're doing, and got a store full of people and a parking lot full of people pulling into the drive-through. And he was flustered, running around, sweating, moving as fast as he could, instead of getting under control and saying, "Okay, I'm in the weeds. All I gotta do is slowly work myself out of here." But he's a kid. How is he supposed to know that?
And that's why kids shouldn't be managing a fast food restaurant. It's just they don't have the life experience to know how to manage things at that point.
Well, and it goes to what we were talking about the other day. When I was 20 years old, you were meant to be pretty grown up. When my brother was 20 years old, he's what, 8 years older than I am. You were pretty much better be grown up. When my dad was 20 years old, you were a full grown adult, established with kids, a family, a career. Like a 20-year-old used to be a grown man. Now 20-year-olds are children.
Yeah. When I was 20 years old, I had gone through junior ROTC. So I had management skill because I had to. If Wade Junior ROTC worked in high school, at least the high school I went to, some they ran it different, but ours was ran like an infantry battalion. Everybody was taught by the upperclassmen. The upperclassmen had to know how to manage a group of lowerclassmen students. You get what I'm saying? And if you were on battalion staff, which I was at one point, you had to know how to manage even that much more. You don't see that anymore. Kids are not coming out of high school with those kinds of management skills anymore because they don't teach it.
So how were those fries anyway, Gary?
What's that?
How were those fries anyway?
They're delicious. They didn't last long. I hadn't had any, I think, since last summer. And I just heard a week or two ago, my son-in-law said Taco Bell's got nacho fries again. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to have some. And so I was exiting off the turnpike today. I just happened to remember that I was driving within a block of Taco Bell. So it's like, I think I'll stop over here real quick.
Yeah, the Taco Bell that my wife picked me some up from the first time they were selling them, they weren't that great. The ones there, but the Taco Bell there that she went to isn't necessarily all that great either. The one in Cumberland, Maryland, it sucks. The one in Winchester, Virginia, is it's awesome. They do everything fresh there in the store. When they're doing up the taco meat, you can see them actually putting the spices and stuff in actual ground beef, not the mystery meat that comes in the plastic bag. And you actually watch them cut steak, or in the what is it, the steak wrap thing that they have? I can't remember the name of it, but you actually watch them make the stuff. And not to sound racist or anything, but this place is actually run by Mexicans. It's a Taco Bell. It's actually run by Mexicans, and they do everything the right way. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I did get something to do a taste test on today, though. You guys might remember the video. I went back and watched it just before I jumped over onto the chat with Rich. But Midnight Range gave me one of his chocolate butterscotch coconut brownies. He did a video back in 2017 about it. So I'll have that to do a taste test on later, since I didn't get my nacho fries.
So you made it up to Harrisburg today?
Yeah, I went up to the outdoor show. It was pretty good.
and my wife's all pouty because we didn't get to go because of the issues with the car. I don't know if you could hear her in the background.
We didn't get to go yesterday do anything we were supposed to.
Yeah, it was a pretty good show. I met up with Midnight Range, and that was pretty cool to hang out with him today. And I tried my best to avoid him, and I was really disappointed. Like when I saw him, I was like, "Wait a minute, you're not Obnoxious One." Like I drove all the way up there to meet Obnoxious, and there's Midnight. But he introduced me to Tony Simon from Gun Channels.
Yeah,
And
I saw a picture of them too.
then there was a couple people like the I can't remember the name of the Tactical Solutions, I think it is, the place like they make the coffee tables and stuff like that where you can Tactical Walls.
Tactical Walls. There you go.
Yeah, the guy that Ghost did the interview with was there, and we got to talk to him for a little while and check out their products. Picked up a whole bunch of swag. You know, got to check out a whole bunch of nice guns. And we only went through the part that had guns there. Like there was a bunch of other parts of this complex where you could go check out camping stuff and bow hunting stuff and whatever other kind. We just stayed, and it was just the gun area was a big place.
Yeah, my wife, she was looking forward to going up there and looking at the stuff and then meeting up with you guys and everything. And then that all went to shit.
Yeah, Squibby was supposed to meet us, and then yesterday his car had trouble.
Yeah, it's like Squib and I both got hit with car trouble on the same day. It's like, what are the odds of that? And not just like something simple either. In both cases, it's something weird. Like his tie rods both got twisted around somehow, which is odd. And then on my wife's car, the sensor that controls your trashing system is acting up, and somehow it's now affecting her power steering as well. So when she called Ford, it's scheduled to have it looked at. They told her, don't go driving that anywhere. The farthest you're to drive that is to here, and the Ford dealership is right up the street. It's still under warranty, so that should be covered, but it's still just totally destroyed our entire weekend.
Yep, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, we had stuff planned for yesterday, and then today we were supposed to go up to Harrisburg to the Great American Outdoor Show. Yeah, that all went to hell real quick.
Well, if it's any consolation, Midnight, I pretty much just went up there just to kind of hang out, and Midnight, he's got some pretty interesting stuff that he can, depends on, I'm not going to tell you what he did, that's for his channel, but he's got some pretty cool stuff that should be coming out on his channel.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily going up there to like film content or anything. I was just going to, just go do something, But and then like meet up with you guys, and that idea went out the window Friday. I told my wife I'm waiting to see what the hell goes wrong when it's time to go to Tulsa. It seems like every time we plan something goes crazy.
Oh, come on now. Cycle Camp made it the last 4 hours with a broken rear axle on that van. So.
Well, whose alternator had to get changed to 1 year?
That was Ghost, I think. And that was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that was when him and Clover went for the first time, wasn't it?
I think so.
And they were changing it in the parking lot, and they said some woman came up to them asking if they were selling marijuana or something. She started a conversation by asking them if they were cops.
There's Black Cat. Did Black Cat make it up there?
No, he had to work. think he had to work today or something.
Yeah, he said he wasn't going to be able to go. So.
I got to use the Mantis system, and that's a pretty cool system, and it's rather affordable too.
Which one's that?
It's the one where they take basically it looks like the light that you would put on the bottom of your rail on your pistol, and it syncs to the app. I guess it's a free app that they said that you can download and pretty much point anywhere and pull the trigger. There are problems with it. Like for me, if I were to put it on one of my firearms, I pull the trigger and then I would have to manually, cycle it because it's not going to cycle itself. But they have CO2, and then they have ones that you can use with snap caps and stuff like that. So there's a bunch of different options. The ones that they had today were CO2 powered, so you could keep pulling the trigger and it would cycle it. But it's really interesting when you're aiming and watching the target, like the iPad that they had or whatever device they had set up, and you think that you're perfectly still, and you're looking at this beam and how much it's just dancing around the screen.
Oh yeah, you're never perfectly still. That's one thing that you learn when you're doing like marksmanship stuff on a if you're like say on the rifle team again in junior RTC, you'll find that out real quick. The idea is to try to control your breathing enough to where your natural movement actually just slows down enough where you can put that shot on target. But you'll never completely be absolutely still.
That's what I liked about January's drill of the month that Ghost Tactical put out, where I think he called it the Keymaster, and it was really close target, but it was about that breath control and that feeling what the trigger does.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm not going to be able to do the February one. It's just not going to work out. But that one's pretty cool too because it's that the reset. You're supposed to work on the reset, and that's what I practice a lot with the dry fire. But it's kind of difficult because I got to cycle every single time. So I get a good trigger pull, and then I got to reset everything and calm back down again before I can hit the reset and the trigger pull again.
The first thing that they told us, when in ninth grade when we first joined when you joined the marksmanship team in junior RTC was you're never going to sit perfectly still. You have to learn to accept it and learn how to control it. Don't fight it. If you fight it, you're going to make it worse. Accept it. And, you're not going to be able to do anything about it. The best you're going to be able to do is control your breathing, which is going to help you control your heart rate at the same time. And then you'll see that the movement will slow down, but it'll still be there. And you just got to wait for your to be as best over that bullseye on your target as you can be before you pull the trigger.
That's what my I hate calling him that. I mean, he's a friend of mine, but you guys don't know him, so I'll just say my firearms instructor. He's always been talking to me about chasing the bullseye. Like my first shot, on the rifle side, I'll get down, I'll get nice and comfortable, and be ready and steady, and get a nice shot off, and then my next 3 or 4 are all over the place. And he's been trying to explain to me, don't chase the bullseye. Realize that you're not going to take a perfect shot every time, and just do your best to pay attention to all your motor skills and all that kind of stuff.
Stick to the
all the guys, like the regular crew that is at the range when me and my friend are up there, just like the gun channels people, have just given me so much. It's absolutely stunning just how much everybody has treated me so well. Like I go to the range and everybody's like, here, try this one, come over here and shoot this, try this new ammo, try this new gun. and they're giving me tips, and it's just really cool to get treated that way. I don't deserve it, but it's really humbling that people take their time to help me out.
That's why it's a community. You don't help out the new shooters. Who is? Later, RL. And on that, do you have any questions about anything you want to ask? We haven't done your segment in a couple weeks.
Yeah, no, I just got a text message with some. I'll talk to you about it off air, but I just got a text message that distracted me. Yeah, you're the revolver guy. Let me go ahead and get myself distracted before I get pissed off. Hold on. Now I'm getting another. Hold on. Excuse me, guys.
So, how was your trip to your daughter's this time, Gary?
Oh, it went pretty good. I ended up going a day earlier than normal. I usually go Saturday morning, but she sent me an email Friday afternoon wanting to know if I'd pick her up after work because she got off early and her husband was at work and they only have the one car. She wanted to know if I wanted to come down early and take her out and we'd go out and eat and go shopping. So I took off early and got down there and picked her up, and we did the eating and shopping thing, and then I spent Friday night and Saturday night there. Ended up spending a whole day with her and my son-in-law yesterday because neither one of them had to work on Saturday. So,
and the little family picture of the three of you in the car, right?
Yeah, we don't, all three of us, because a lot of times Russell has to work on Saturday, so it was kind of nice for all three of us to just have a whole Saturday off to just go have fun. And I wanted to take that picture, and Sarah said, "No, I don't want to do it." I said, "Oh, come on, let's all three of us get in this." Finally, I put the phone far enough away. She leaned in a little bit so I could catch the edge of her face. But
yeah, for those of you that don't know what picture we're talking about, look at Gary's Instagram page and you'll see it.
I think it's under my personal account.
Is it your personal or is it because of Gary?
I can't remember which one I did it
under. I know. I remember seeing it. I don't remember which
account. It's under my personal account. Under Gary E. Decker.
You back yet, Kingpin?
Yeah. I left a little note in the side Hangouts chat just to give you guys an idea of what's going on. But get back to my distraction. You're the revolver guy. Have you looked into the King Cobra, the Colt King Cobra?
I've never been a fan really of Colt revolvers.
How about you, Gary? Do you mess with the revolvers?
Just barely, and I only own two of them, and one of them is a Heritage Rough Rider, and the other is a Taurus 85. So, as far as the big name brand stuff, all I know is what I hear.
Yeah, the Colts aren't bad. It's just I've always preferred Smith & Wesson revolvers to the Colts.
What about Rugers?
I've only really ever shot one Ruger. My grandfather was a Smith & Wesson guy, and his one friend was a Colt guy. So I fired multiple different Smith & Wessons and Colts, but I've only ever fired one Ruger. So I can't really give you too much on that one.
All I ever heard was that Rugers are built a little bit sturdier than Smith & Wessons, but it's a different kind of steel.
Yeah, Smith & Wesson uses Smith uses a better quality steel than Ruger does, and so to compensate, Ruger makes their stuff thicker.
Right.
So
I don't know a lot about Colts, other than they keep, dropping stuff and then bringing it back. And a lot of people say the new stuff isn't up to par with the old stuff.
that's probably true with everybody. I mean, you get one of the old Smiths is going to be better than one of the newer Smiths too. You get a Model 29. Look at the issues that Slim Cowboys had with the modern Model 29.
Oh, I know.
You get one of the old ones, probably won't have a single problem with it. The problem is the older ones will cost you an arm and a leg. I mean, you're looking at a couple thousand probably for one of the old Dirty Harry era Model 29s. And look at the price. Look what they're charging now for a Colt Python.
Am I screen sharing right now?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Can you see my mouse too?
Hold on.
Yeah, I can.
All right. Well, you see right here where my mouse is at is the cylinder release, and it's got right from the cylinder back. It's flat right there. Then this little area here at the end is like a bump that sticks up.
Right. You pull it. Yeah.
You pull it backwards.
Right. Yeah.
And
Colt pull backwards. Smith, you push forward.
The tracker that I've got's the only revolver that I'm really familiar with because it's the only one that I have. But right about here is the cylinder release, and you push it forward, and then the cylinder will drop. This you got to pull back and kind of like even push out on the cylinder, and it sucks. Like,
yeah, the Tauruses, they use the Smith & Wesson style because at one time Taurus licensed Smith & Wesson designs, and now they have all Smith & Wesson tooling to make their revolvers on. So Taurus revolvers are a Smith & Wesson pattern revolver, but they make subtle changes to them as far as metallurgy and stuff like that's concerned.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. And it's got a real weird, like this one here, up here, you can see it's got a rear sight. I don't think the ones that I saw today had rear sights. It was just that, like the metal right there just had a little slot cut in it. So, yeah. Not very good.
Yeah, that cylinder release is one of the things I've never liked on Colts. Smith & Wesson's is much more intuitive. You push forward with your thumb, and your thumb's almost right there by the slide release anyway. Or not slide release, cylinder release. So you just reach up and push that forward, whereas the Colt, you got to bring your thumb back a little bit, catch that, and pull it back, and it's just not as comfortable as pushing you forward on the Smith & Wesson style. Again, that's what my opinion on it is. But you said you have a Taurus. What's your thoughts on that, Gary?
On my 85?
Yeah.
I haven't had a bit of problems with that thing. I love that gun.
And you got the push forward Smith & Wesson style, right? On that because it's a Taurus.
Yeah.
Yeah, like no.
The only thing, and it's just the way the grip is designed because it's got a little bit of a thumb lip there, is that the cylinder really doesn't come out far enough. That grip gets in the way if you try to use a speed loader. It can make it kind of hairy. A lot of people take a razor blade and trim the top edge of that rubber grip off.
Yeah. I've never been a fan of the Taurus rubber grips.
I got a question. I've been seeing a lot about the speed loaders for the revolvers. I mean, obviously I'm a newbie and I don't know any better yet, but my first impression of that is give me a break. It really saves you that much time from dump and reload. I mean, like how really effective and worthy is a speed loader for a revolver?
If you're really good at it, you can reload a revolver in just a matter of seconds, but it takes a lot of practice.
Yeah, speed loader. what the speed loader does is it drops all your rounds in one go. Paul Harrell did a video on that topic. So, I mean, I don't use I don't own a speed loader, but I do have moon clips.
That'll only work on revolvers that are designed to work with them generally.
Yeah. Well, the 627 is, and it came with that I have is, and it came with the moon clips.
Because typically they have a little bit of a recess in the cylinder where that moon clip's there.
Yeah. Let me get my 627, and I can show you exactly what Gary's talking about.
And while you're at the revolver thing, you can explain K frame and J frame to me real quick too.
Okay.
That's generally just a matter of size, I believe.
Yeah, that's size. That's the size of the frame. J frame's the smallest. Then you have K frame. Then you have L. Then you have N. Then you have the X frame. The X frame will be your 500 Magnum, your 460 Magnum.
Well, that's what I was kind of figuring. It had to just be classifications because I get J. You know, you could look at a revolver and almost see a J. You could maybe convince yourself that somewhere in it is a K. But when I started hearing about the other names, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, how do you have an X that's not even remotely close to an X?
And it's just the way Smith came up for like determining what size their frames are. Yeah. Like the 627 I'm about to show you, it's an N frame. It's up until they came out with the X frame. This was the largest frame Smith & Wesson made. This will be your model 25, 26, 27, 28, and 29 originally, were the original N frames. Then they came out with the 627, the 629, the 329, the 327, the 5. I think there's 529. I don't remember for sure. But they're all the N frames. They're the biggest one they had until they came out with the X frame. Now, open this up. If you can see there, see how that's got like a little bit of a lip right around here? That is so that'll hold your moon clip.
Yeah, what is a moon clip?
Okay, a moon clip is just a little clip. Let me get my I got a box of Smith & Wesson 57s here. What a moon clip is, it's a little clip. It's circular. There's also semi-moon clips, which are half of a moon clip. What it does is, you see how it's got the rim?
Yeah.
It clips right up underneath the rim on each round as it goes in a circle. And what that allows you to do is just drop all, in this particular weapon, 8 rounds in, just like that.
Okay.
When you drop one in one, and the others will all go in. Whereas a speed loader, you got to line up the holes while you're putting the speed loader in, and then twist and pull the thing off. The moon clip, you just drop the whole thing in, and you don't have to worry about lining it up because it holds the rounds to where they'll go in each hole automatically.
Now, if you can imagine having a pocket full of ammo and you've emptied the cylinder and you're going to reload, not only are you going to have to take each one of those out of your pocket, but then you're going to have to turn it around the right direction and drop it in there. That's time consuming.
Right.
Yeah,
And
that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and here's a J frame just for reference. You can see how much smaller that is. I mean, look at the profile. See how much bigger the N frame is.
Yeah.
So that's your difference. Most of your snub nose Smith & Wessons are going to be J frames, though there are snub nose in the other frames as well. But most of like your 38 snubbies, and there's even some 357 snubbies, they're going to be your J frames. I wouldn't want to fire one of these in 357.
The guys at Taurus, we were checking out the revolvers there, and they had the 22, and it was really slick. And the guy, I'm pretty sure, unless I had it wrong, he said that they make a 17 in a revolver as well.
Yeah, and Vanessa brings up a good point. The revolver has to have room to fit the moon clip, and certain moon clips will have different widths to them. Like if you look at this J frame, this is my wife's. I don't know if you can see. You see how much space is in there? You probably could fit a 38 special moon clip in it'll stick out from the cylinder, but you might be able to get one in there. With this one, because of the fact that the cylinder is cut for them, you can definitely get them in there.
Go back to the snub nose real quick.
Okay, what about it?
Where's the hammer?
Inside.
Oh, so it's an internal hammer. Okay.
Yeah. There's also, this one's an internal hammer. There's also what's called a shrouded hammer. It would be more of a hump back here, and it has a little switch on top where you can actually cock it in single action. This one's double action only.
And the good thing about that is if you want to carry it in a pocket, there's nothing to catch.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, basically, it's not going to go off until you double action the trigger.
Right, that double action triggers your safety.
Although theoretically, with modern revolvers in the transfer bar, there's no way pulling the hammer back shouldn't discharge the firearm anyway.
Well, that depends. If you got this thing with this hammer cocked, this trigger pull is extremely light.
Right. I'm just saying if you were to pull the hammer back a little ways and let go of it, it should not fire the gun.
No.
Because there's a transfer bar that would have to come up first in order to transfer that up.
Yeah, unless you do like what Gelsma did when his transfer bar broke and just welded it all up, where the transfer bar does basically nothing.
Right.
Yeah. Even on this one, the double action is extremely light. I'm just using my thumb and my trigger finger. That's how light the double action is on this revolver. Which I was talking about. What was it on? Whose show was it that we were talking about this the other night? Was that your show or was that Snob's last night, Gary?
I think we were talking about the revolvers on Gary's show because that's Slim Cowboy was on with us.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but this is what I was talking about. See how smooth and that trigger is buttery smooth and in this. And that's the double action pull. That's not the single action.
Vanessa wants to know what caliber that is.
This one, it's my 357, the M627.
Oh, what? You know how Rick over at Rick's Life has been looking for a new gun for for his arthritis and being able to rack the slide better. Why wouldn't he go with a revolver?
Some revolvers, the trigger pull can be heavy. This trigger pull is much heavier.
Yeah, it looks okay. I see now.
Yeah, this one is heavy. I can't just do the thumb and trigger finger very easily with this like I can with this one. There's a lot more pressure needed to pull that trigger.
But that's partly by design because that thing could potentially be carried in a pocket and you don't want it to accidentally go off.
Yeah, the J frame, especially if you had the stock grip on here. This is not the stock grip. This is an aftermarket Smith & Wesson combat grip that I put on here because it gives you more of a purchase on it. Yeah, this one here's the Pro Series, Vanessa. She's out there saying about how her Performance Center has the nice trigger. Yeah, this one's the Pro Series. It's it's one step above the standard for those that don't know, but it's not quite Performance Center. This will be like your mid-tier as far as your quality levels are concerned when it comes to Smith & Wesson revolvers or Smith & Wesson guns, period.
Oh.
Not to say that this is a budget handgun by any stretch of the imagination. This thing was $850 before I put the grip on it. Add another how much did I pay for that? 70, I think. So you're looking at over $900 a revolver right here, and it's not even a performance center. Performance center in the 627, you're looking at $1,000 for it.
All right, now here's a topic. We always talk about the guns that we have and the guns that we want and stuff like that, and we're not all filthy rich like Obnoxious One is. What do you do when you've got $1,000 handgun that you want to buy? Do you wait 2 or 3 years to get it? Do you just spend all the money and then scrimp after you've blown your money? Like, how do you plan to go out and spend $8,000-9,000 for a firearm?
Okay, when I got this was when I got the big lump sum I got when the VA approved my disability. So that helped pay for this. I got 14 grand in one big lump sum from the VA, and that bought this. Now there's other guns that I have that were bought used or what have you, that I just had the money at the time, so I went and got it. Like my HK USP, this normally would be an $800 and some gun here. This one here would normally be $800 and some brand new. I paid $625, I think, for it used, and then I put the Talon grip on there, which is only like $25, but it's a better grip. One thing I don't like about this is the front strap and the back strap have little triangular pyramidal type stippling on it, and when you fire that digs into your hand, and you end up with little triangle indentations on your fingers. This eliminated that, and it still has a really good grip to it.
We were at the Nighthawk bench, and I wasn't aware, but I'm sure that you guys are aware of how expensive Nighthawks are.
Oh yeah.
There was this one. It was stainless steel finish, and it had this like rough looking finish on the top of the slide. And when you rubbed your finger across it, you're like, "Oh, that's terrible." And the grip was really aggressive, and it had like these angled cuts into them. And when you run your finger across, you may like, "Oh, this is gonna be the worst gun ever." And then when you picked it up and held it in your hand, it was like an angel that you were just nuzzling in your hands, and it was so beautiful. And then the guy told me it was like $9,000, and I quickly handed it back to him.
Yeah. Calaveras is out there asking a question. He does have a link, so if he wants to jump in and ask the question, sometimes things like that, it's better to talk about.
Yeah, come in and talk to us. We don't bite. Not too hard.
Yeah, I believe I sent you the link, so unless you're unable to. If you're unable to, just say so out there, and then we can try to answer that.
Glock 19. I saw a Glock 19 yesterday for $4.99, brand new one.
He's at work and can't jump in. Okay, he's asking about getting a 4-inch 44 Magnum. If you're going with the 44 Magnum, yeah, that a 4-inch isn't bad. A 6-inch is better if you were to mitigate recoil from it. And if you're going to be using it for hunting, 6-inch would be more in line with that. You're out there in California, so you're probably not going to be carrying it, so you don't have to worry about a smaller barrel, which I'm not a fan of 44 snub noses myself. For a home defense gun, a 4-inch wouldn't be bad. that's what you're looking for. If that's what you're looking for it for.
Isn't a 4-inch 44 Magnum gonna smack like crazy though?
Yeah, but it's still going to be controllable. It's not like you're getting a 329 with a 3-inch barrel, which is going to have absolutely no weight to it. If he's looking at something like a 29 or a 629 with a 4-inch, that's not going to be too bad. Like I said, 6-inch would be better, but a 4-inch isn't going to be totally outside the realm of possibility. And it depends on how strong you are too. So you got to take that into consideration. If you got like nerve damage in your hands or issues with your elbows or wrist or anything like that, a 4-inch might be a little more painful to shoot.
He's talking about taking it back in the woods.
Backup sidearm for hunting, I would go. Yeah, like Vanessa said and Rob said earlier, 6-inch for that for sure. You want to at least get a 6-inch if you're going to be using it for hunting. Now, with that said, I've used 4-inch 357s for hunting sidearm, but at a 44, I would want a 6-inch to help mitigate some of that recoil. So when it comes to revolvers, your biggest recoil mitigator is going to be the weight of the firearm. So the longer the barrel, the more weight you're going to have, and you're also going to produce more energy. So, and if when you're out there in California, you're in brown bear country because you're in Northern California, if I remember right. So, yeah, you're going to want at least a 6-inch.
Now, come on. If you just tell that bear, stop it, bear, don't mess with me, that's illegal. There's a law against that. The bear will definitely leave you alone.
You could take a brown bear, in theory, with a 357 Magnum. People have done it, but I would want a 44 for that, just to be on the safe side. No. So, and yeah, I would definitely want a 6-inch.
See, and that'd be something that I'd like to talk to him about. He's mentioned it before because we've got Black Bear, and well, you know, Rich, we don't live far away from each other.
Yeah, we got Black Bear. Black Bear ain't nowhere near as big as brown bear.
Right, but if you get caught plugging a black bear around here, they're gonna build a jail and bury you under it. And I imagine if you get caught shooting a bear out in California, then you're gonna be screwed.
There's actually bear season.
Right, but I'm talking about not bear hunting. Like you're not out bear hunting.
If you're doing it and it's a defense situation, you're not going to get in trouble. But you have to inform the game warden or whatever they call them in your state. You know, you have to call wildlife, fish and game, whatever it is, and let them know. And let them know where, so they can come out and look at the scene and verify the fact that it was a defensive shoot. You're not going to have an issue. If you're just out there poaching bear, on the other hand, then you're going to have a problem.
My boss's girlfriend, she lives in like literally the mountains back her backyard. And one day she woke up and she's got this big sliding glass door in her bedroom. So she cracked open the shades, and standing right there looking at her dead in the face is this big ass black bear. And, oh, she flipped out. And then like 2 weeks later, she had a baby deer in her house.
That stuff happens. I've told you the story about the deer, the bear, the male black bear that was crossing the bridge in the city limits of Pittsburgh trying to get to the zoo. Haven't I? It's crazy. Tell people that kind of thing that are from like New York and stuff, and they don't believe you. It's like, yeah, man. When I lived in Pittsburgh, there were bear in the city limits.
How do you budget for your guns, Gary?
How do I budget for them?
Yeah, like if you go into the gun store and there's $1,000 gun there that you want, do you just reach in your pocket and pay for it, or do you, save up for a couple months? A couple have
I've
like a
never,
have like a gun penny jar.
I've never paid that much for one, to tell you the truth. But uh, the most I've ever paid for any of my guns is just over 400.
All right. Well, I guess the next question would be: would you ever like I was at the Nighthawk table today, and all of them were multiple $1,000 handguns. Would you ever? Obviously, I would say that none of us in our current positions would spend $10,000 for a handgun. But
Hmm.
if you were rich and could afford $10,000 handgun, would you even buy one then?
No.
Depends on how rich I was, but if I was rich, I'd probably already have several. I wouldn't have to.
Let me rephrase that. I would not buy a new firearm that's $10,000. If it was a super rare antique kind of situation, that would be a totally different story.
But now I am looking someday to pick up a Ruger 1911. It's gonna run me around $750. I know this, and it's just gonna have to be. I won't buy it unless I've got the money in the bank to buy it, and it won't. I'll still be able to pay all my bills afterwards. I don't put myself in debt to buy a gun.
Well, that's where I'm kind of at right now. I've got a plan. Like the next gun that I plan to buy is the Ruger 1911, and then I want to get a pair of blue lock grips. Like I've told you before, when Jesse B Outdoors did a video on it. I'm just gonna steal his idea because I like it so much. But it's gonna be about $800 to do it all, if not a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, depends on where I find it. If I could get one used or new,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna have
Academy
to
had it
budget
for
for that.
$749, but I know I have seen it at my local gun shop cheaper than that.
Yeah. Now, when I built my AR, I did it piece by piece, and I probably got about 900 to 1,000 in it, putting it together piece by piece. Like I ordered the upper, a complete upper. I paid 300 for it. Then I put together a lower parts kit and a stripped receiver, Porky Pig and receiver. No, it did not have any pins or springs or anything.
And that's kind of where I'm at with. I'm building the AR-10, and it's been forever since I've put the thing together, the lower together, and there's been a couple issues that I've had when I've been motivated to order the stuff, and it's not worked out right for me, so that's kind of demotivated me. But I get distracted pretty easy. Like other stuff will catch my eye. I'll be like, okay, well, there's a squirrel over there. Let me go buy that.
Yeah, that's what's nice about when you're building an AR, though. You can buy a part here, a part there, a part here, a part there, and then once you get all the parts, put it all together, and nothing on it's going to be out of date. And, it's all going to work together. No matter you buy a trigger pack 5 years from now to drop it into your AR, it's still going to work. You're not going to have something that's going to be obsolete. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's nice about even if you get sidetracked and you're not able to complete it and you have to wait a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever, you can still get parts that are going to work in it. Okay, that killed the chat.
Where in the world is everybody tonight?
I don't know.
Well, we're up to 7 people watching. Now we're back down to 4.
Oh, I know what they're doing. We gotta start calling this and wrapping this up. We got us Newlywed game over on Gun Gals tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say they just started their show.
Oh, did they? Uh-oh.
Yeah, they're early. They usually don't come on.
For not having a planned topic, we ended up with a pretty good show tonight. So,
Yeah.
Gary, Any plugs you want to get out there?
Just the standard stuff. Visit my website at gizzardgary.com. Come by and check out Foul Territory every Friday night, 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Like, share, and subscribe to everyone on this panel. And thanks to everybody for watching. And like, share, and subscribe to Rich White at This Week Unloaded.
No. It's Unloaded Media Channel.
Unloaded Media. I just looking at the picture on my screen. It says This Week Unloaded.
Yeah, the channel is actually Unloaded Media. The show's This Week Unloaded.
I'm reading the teleprompter, man. It's like Ron Burgundy. I'll read whatever's in front of me.
Or like Bruce Almighty when he got the guy to do it.
Vanessa, you just need to get the hell out of Connecticut.
Vanessa needs to get on some live streams. She's full of all kinds of good knowledge. She should come in here and start talking to us.
You bet.
Yeah, she should be a natural at it, being college professor and everything. Yeah.
And everybody loves her. You know, everybody thinks she's cool as can be.
Kingpin, got anything you want to plug or anything? Any last comments?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Always fun, you know, having a good conversation. Like I said, keep an eye out on Midnight Range's channel. He should have some pretty interesting stuff coming out. So that's it.
Yeah, speaking of Midnight Range, don't forget the closer tonight, somewhere around 10:30, 11. And when we're done, head over to Gun Gals. They are doing a newlywed game. It's going to be Clover and Armintha versus Tardot and Gunpowder versus Gunsnob and Stacy.
Yeah, somebody mentioned last night, why isn't it Clover and Ghost?
Yeah, that was Stevie Wonder. Yeah, that was
hilarious.
Yeah, Stevie Wonder brought up that question.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gunsnob's son-in-law.
The fun snob.
The Glock snob. Oh, not Glock snob. High Point snob. Anyway, we will see you back here next week, and wherever else we end up popping into, Gary's show or Sarge's show or Obnoxious One's show or Closer Tonight even. So have a good one, folks, and we will catch you later.
Down that pan fridge.
Give him the bird.